At UMC, access to your health care is only a call away. Dial 74NURSE for free, instant medical advice from experienced and trusted UMC nurses, 24 hours a day. Learn more at umchealthsystem.com.
And welcome in everyone to RedRaiders.com. I am Zach Long with Krista Pirtle. Today we're going to take a look at some topics pertaining to Texas Tech football, the Big 12 Conference, and the NCAA as a whole. Krista, how about we get started with some Red Raider football topics?
Sounds good. Starting
first with the old running game last week against SMU, maybe not as flashy as some people expect it to be with the talent that the Red Raiders have at running back, but this week against Stephen F. Austin, probably not going to be the same results, Krista.
And we wouldn't call 50 total yards on the ground flashy.
Not at all.
And there were some things that went into that. SMU has a top 10 running defense, and Tech's offensive line was a little wishy-washy, but they should get better as the weeks progress. But last week, SFA against Weber State, they allowed 315 yards on the ground, so I think Tech can run all over them this week.
Yeah, quite frankly, what did Weber State? They had 3 running backs almost go for 100 yards in that game, and Cliff Kingsbury has said numerous times, Krista, he's going to do what it takes to win a football game. You know, probably not a big secret here. This week, the running game is going to help them win a football game. Krista, the next topic here, oh my goodness, turnovers. The poor defense catches such a bad rap because they haven't produced a turnover in so long, and there were so few last year. There were a couple opportunities Saturday where you really thought the Red Raiders were going to get one. This week, is it going to finally be the week where we see them get maybe multiple turnovers against Stephen F. Austin?
It should be. Last year, SFA had 41 turnovers. Last week, they had 3, all of them interceptions, and 1 was returned 70 yards to the house. So these defensive guys are ready and hungry, and they're going to get a few.
Spread offense, they threw it, 62 times last week, Stephen F. Austin. Chances are Red Raider probably gets his hands on one of those passes this week. Last week, Krista, when you talk about that SMU win, it's hard not to be a little bit infatuated with what Baker Mayfield did, and my goodness, from the national media standpoint, the kid's face was everywhere this week. You know, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, top performance on ESPN and all that good stuff. But maybe lost in all this was that the defense actually had a really nice game, but Baker Mayfield's, positive shenanigans really came off as kind of the focus for the Red Raiders.
I think a main thing for Baker's confidence was the defense. They had 5 sacks, which is the most since their opener in 2010 against SMU. Last year, they only had the most they ever had in a game was 4 against Iowa State. So the defense was really cranked up and taking care of business on that end. So I think that Baker, yes, he did well, but he didn't have the pressure of, oh my goodness, they're coming. In the second half, the Tech offense just went crazy because the defense held the SMU offense.
Yeah, because quite frankly, there was a few times SMU was in the red zone, had a chance to score, and Tech either held them to a field goal or just flat stopped them. That's a lot of confidence to deal with as an offense when your defense is getting you off the field. And we watched game tape earlier this week, and it's really amazing when you see scenarios when linebackers are running unimpeded into the offensive backfield making sacks. Definitely something I think Tech fans are going to like to see going forward. Krista, right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the state of things in the Big 12 Conference, and quite frankly, very easy to start when you look at 3 little nasty letters, FCS. Maybe a cupcake on the schedule get you through week 1. Well, a couple teams that worked out that way and a couple it did not.
And Baylor started out their season against Wofford. Who's Wofford?
Don't know.
No one knows, but Baylor rolled through that one. But the 2 teams that really got stunned by FCS schools were Iowa State and Kansas State. Both had gimmies, it seemed like, on their schedule and just lost them. And then William and Mary for West Virginia. Who are they? We still don't know, but the Mountaineers almost lost to them.
Yeah, and you look at that game when we were watching some film the other day, they had to score with 3 minutes left to beat William and Mary. That is not something that we expect from a Dana Holgorsen-esque offense, especially when they're that wide open and they've got a very good running game with, Houston transfer Charles Sims. The Oklahoma schools, though, Krista, they had a little bit better week.
They did, and for OU, it was a battle of 2 things. Was the defense going to stand out, or was Trevor Knight, the quarterback, going to stand out? Knight did okay, but the big thing was the defense who shut him out. And then Oklahoma State, they decided on a quarterback with J.W. Walsh, and he is expected to start this weekend.
And a good job by them. Anytime you go in and beat an SEC opponent, huge confidence builder for that Oklahoma State team. Across the rest of the Big 12, TCU, my goodness, they duked it out with a very good LSU team. That ended up being one of the best games of the week in college football.
It did, and the thing that bothered me with TCU was if you have 2 quarterbacks, you kind of don't have one because you need that one guy to step up and lead, and they really haven't had that, and it showed in that game.
Absolutely, and next week, no clue who's going to start for TCU in that Thursday night game against Texas
Will
Tech.
Devontae Fields play?
Devontae Fields will play in that game. I guarantee you there's no way Gary Patterson is going to let him play against Southeastern Louisiana, who they don't need him against this week, and then suspend him for Texas Tech. That's just dumb. Krista, the old Texas Longhorns, slow start, but then they explode and end up one of their best offensive outputs in a long time down in Austin.
This was a good start for quarterback David Ash to get the confidence and the team on his shoulders to show that he can lead this team to what Texas teams used to be. And the running game also helped him out. You've got 3 of those big guys in the backfield running over people. What we expect from the Tech guys to do, Texas sure did, and they have a tough game this week against BYU.
Yes, watch BYU. That they lost last week, so very much a trip game for Mac Brown and the Longhorns. They'll have to take care of business there. Let's go ahead and end this thing, Krista, with an NCAA topic. And what better topic than our good friend down there in College Station, old JFF himself, Johnny Manziel. You know, he dodges an NCAA bullet. We don't get to watch him in the first half. He comes back, and we were actually sitting in a restaurant in Dallas going, this is kind of exciting. We get to watch Johnny Manziel play, and, well, then he does stupid things.
Yes, but he's a 20-year-old college kid. He does what he wants.
It's okay.
Which frustrates me to no end. How many young kids are looking up to this guy saying, he won the Heisman as a freshman. I want to do that when I get older. Cool, don't act like him off the field. He needs to step up and be a man. He's 20, but he can be a man.
Yeah, you know, there was a variety of great freshmen across the country this week with really good performances, and it was all about what they did on the field and their character afterwards. And you saw a lot of national media putting out the call. Maybe it's about time we look up to a freshman star who actually represents himself on and off the field in a positive way. And Manziel, you just keep waiting for that enlightening moment where it's going to click with the kid, and he goes, hey, I am not bigger than Texas A&M, and I am not bigger than college football. I need to learn to play the game on and off the field for, you know, for the betterment not only of yourself, but, you know, of your entire Texas A&M community and, quite frankly, for the college football world. They need a better version of Johnny Manziel, or it's just going to become a bigger and bigger distraction for Kevin Sumlin and the Aggies.
Yep, and he's taken over that school. If they don't, I don't know if you discipline him or if he'll revolt against that, but something needs to happen because I don't know, I'm not an Aggie, but they need someone to be that person to take them forward. And while he took them forward with winning the Heisman, he's starting to pull them back. And so they need to do something to get a better image for their university.
Absolutely. Guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Topics with Krista Pirtle. A lot of good stuff. We've also got a lot of good stuff on our online products at redraiders.com and lubbocksonline.com. Stay tuned later today. We'll be back with our good friend Don Williams for the old UMC Health System AJ Media pregame show. Until then, though, we're going to bid you farewell. For Krista Pirtle, I'm Zach Long. We'll see you next time.